The Lonely Road is that life is a journey, and it's important to take time to discover who we truly are and what we want in life. Along the way, we may face challenges, but it's important to stay positive and keep moving forward. We never know what opportunities or experiences await us just around the corner. So let's embrace the journey and make the most of every moment. The Lonely Road. John was driving on a dark, lonely road. He felt alone and sad because he had just broken up with his girlfriend. He wanted to escape his problems for a while, so he decided to take a long drive. As he drove, he listened to music on the radio. But even the music couldn't make him feel better. He kept thinking about his ex-girlfriend and how much he missed her. The road was long and empty. There were no other cars around. John felt nervous because he had never driven on this road before. The only light came from his headlights, and the trees cast spooky shadows on the road. Suddenly, John heard a strange noise. He turned down the music and listened carefully. It sounded like something was wrong with his car. John felt scared and pulled over to the side of the road. He got out of the car and checked the tires. But everything seemed fine. He didn't know what to do, so he stood there, feeling lost and alone. He looked up at the sky and saw that it was full of stars. It was a beautiful sight, but it didn't make him feel any better. John got back in the car and kept driving. He didn't know where he was going, but he hoped that the road would lead him somewhere happy. He saw a sign that said, "Welcome to Pineville," and decided to follow it. As he drove into Pineville, he saw a motel on the outskirts of town. He went to the reception desk and asked for a room for the night. The receptionist was kind and friendly, and she gave him a room key. John settled into his room and felt a little better. He thought about his ex-girlfriend and wondered if he would ever find someone new. But for now, he was just happy to have a place to rest and sleep. The road may have been lonely, but at least he had a bed to sleep in tonight. The next morning, John woke up feeling a little better. He got dressed and went to the motel reception desk to check out. The receptionist asked him how he slept and if he needed any help with directions. John smiled and thanked her for her kindness. As he walked out of the motel, John saw a small coffee shop across the street. He decided to go in and get some breakfast. The coffee shop was busy, but there was one empty table in the corner. John sat down and looked at the menu. A friendly waitress came over to take his order. John ordered some pancakes and coffee. The waitress smiled and asked him where he was from. John told her he was from the city and was just passing through. The waitress introduced herself as Sarah and told him that she grew up in Pineville. She said it was a small town, but she loved it because everyone was so friendly. John finished his breakfast and paid his bill. As he was leaving the coffee shop, he bumped into Sarah again. She asked him if he needed any help finding his way around town. John smiled and said yes. He told her he was looking for a park where he could go for a walk. Sarah gave him directions to the park and told him it was a beautiful place. John thanked her and said goodbye. He walked to the park and found it easily. It was a peaceful place with lots of trees and flowers. John felt happy to be surrounded by nature. As he was walking, he saw a woman sitting on a bench reading a book. She looked up and smiled at him. John smiled back and said hello. The woman introduced herself as Emily and asked him if he was new in town. John told her he was just passing through and was taking a break from driving. Emily asked him if he wanted to sit down and talk for a while. John felt a little shy, but he said yes. They talked for hours and had a great time. Emily told him about her life in Pineville, and John told her about his job in the city. As the sun began to set, John realized that he had spent the whole day in the park with Emily. He felt happy and grateful for this unexpected encounter. He said goodbye to Emily and promised to keep in touch. He walked back to the motel feeling like he had made a new friend. The lonely road had led him to Pineville, and now he had met someone who made him feel less alone. John went to bed that night feeling happy and hopeful for the future. The next day, John woke up feeling refreshed and excited to explore Pineville. He decided to take a walk around the town and see what he could find. As he walked, he noticed that the town was small but charming. He saw old-fashioned shops and restaurants, friendly people waving hello and colorful flowers in window boxes. John was enjoying his walk when he heard the sound of a guitar playing. He followed the sound and found himself in the park again. He saw a man sitting on a bench, playing a beautiful melody on his guitar. John stopped and listened, feeling moved by the music. When the man finished playing, John clapped and told him that he was a great musician. The man smiled and thanked him. He introduced himself as Tom and said that he played music in local restaurants and bars. Tom asked John if he liked music, and John told him that he loved it. Tom asked John if he wanted to play the guitar with him. John felt a little nervous, but he said yes. Tom handed him a guitar and showed him some chords. At first, John felt a little awkward and unsure of what to do. He had never played the guitar before and was afraid of making mistakes. But Tom was patient and encouraging, and soon John started to feel more confident. They played some simple songs together, and John began to enjoy himself. He realized that playing the guitar was like speaking a new language. He was learning a new skill and expressing himself in a new way. He felt proud of himself for trying something new. After a while, John realized that he had to leave to continue his journey. He thanked Tom for the music lesson and said goodbye. Tom smiled and gave him a small wooden guitar pick. He told John that it was a gift and that he hoped it would remind him of their time together. John felt touched by this simple gesture of kindness. He thanked Tom and promised to keep playing the guitar. He walked away from the park feeling grateful for the new experiences and friendships that Pineville had given him. As he drove out of town, John looked at the guitar pick and smiled. He realized that the lonely road could also lead to unexpected moments of joy and connection. He felt happy and content, knowing that he had made some meaningful memories in Pineville. He made a mental note to stop by Pineville again someday and visit Tom and the park. As John continued on his journey, he came across a small gas station on the side of the road. He realized that he was running low on fuel and needed to fill up his tank. As he pulled into the station, he noticed that his wallet was missing. He searched through his car, but couldn't find it anywhere. John started to panic. He didn't have any cash or cards on him, and he didn't know what to do. He was in the middle of nowhere, with no phone signal and no money. He felt helpless and alone. Just then, a kind stranger approached him. The stranger was an older man with a gentle smile. He asked John if he needed any help. John told him about his situation, and the stranger offered to pay for his gas. John felt grateful and relieved. He thanked the stranger and promised to pay him back as soon as he could. The stranger smiled and told him not to worry about it. He said that he was happy to help someone in need. John filled up his tank and started to drive away, but he couldn't shake the feeling of gratitude. He realized that there were still good people in the world, and that kindness could come from unexpected places. As he drove on, John made a promise to himself. He would pay the stranger back as soon as possible, and he would also try to do something kind for someone else. He realized that small acts of kindness could make a big difference in someone's life. John drove away from the gas station feeling a renewed sense of hope and connection. He knew that he would never forget the kindness of the stranger who had helped him. A few miles down the road, John saw a car pulled over to the side of the road with a flat tire. He remembered his promise to do something kind for someone else and decided to pull over and offer his help. The driver of the car was a young woman, and she looked relieved to see someone stop to help her. John asked her if she needed assistance, and she told him that she didn't know how to change a tire. John showed her how to use the jack and how to remove the flat tire. He then retrieved the spare tire from the trunk of the car and replaced the flat tire with the spare. The young woman thanked him profusely, and John felt a sense of satisfaction knowing that he had helped someone in need. As he drove away from the scene, John felt a sense of contentment. He realized that his journey had taught him the importance of kindness, and that even small acts of generosity could make a big impact in someone's life. John promised himself that he would continue to look for ways to help others and to always be on the lookout for opportunities to spread kindness and compassion wherever he went. John continued his journey feeling proud of himself. He learned a lot about himself and the world around him. While driving, he thought about all the people he met on his journey. He remembered the old woman, the young family, the kind stranger, and the young woman with the flat tire. All of them helped him in some way, and he felt grateful for the lessons he learned from them. As he drove towards the horizon, John realized that his journey wasn't just about getting from one place to another. It was about discovering new things about himself and the world around him. He remembered all the beautiful places he saw on his journey and the kindness of the people he met. John realized that his journey was a journey of self-discovery, and it opened up a whole new world of possibilities for him. He felt excited, knowing that there were so many new experiences waiting for him. As he drove into the sunset, John made a promise to himself. He promised to be open to new experiences and never stop exploring the world around him. He knew that his journey may have come to an end, but it was just the beginning of a new chapter in his life. With a sense of hope, John drove towards his next adventure, ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead.